Hello, hello, hello. I'm using a microphone. I hope everyone can hear me because the eclipse is happening in my house of close connections, language, speech, and delivery. So, hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm your astrologer friend, and we are less than 24 hours away from the total lunar eclipse in zodiac sign Virgo. Let's just talk about the archetypes of Virgo to get us kicked off. Virgo is a mutable earth sign. And earth signs are all about the practical nature that we have within us, within all of us. So our ability to keep the mill turning, let me just check I'm recording this. I think I am recording. Keep the wheel turning at the cotton mill, or the bull ploughing the fields, or the ascent to the top of the mountain. This is all about slow and steady progress. And for each and every one of us, Virgo will be showing up as a different corner of our horoscopes. And so the lunar eclipse will mean something different for everyone. Let's dive in and look at the chart, and then I'll go through one by one, sign by sign, to reveal a bit more about what's happening for you. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen of the software AstroGold. Maybe next time I'll be trying out the Astrograph software as well. Let's move that little thing out of the way there. So you can see at the lunar eclipse, we're dealing with a full moon that is conjunct the south node. A conjunction means a meetup of two celestial objects. So here we have the moon, which we see all the time. You know about the moon. You see it all the time in the sky, the moon, the magical moon. And the moon is conjunct, it's together with an illusionary point, the ecliptic path of the moon. And that is the north node and south node, these two invisible points in our skies, in space. They represent the farthest most points of an egg shape, an elliptical shape of the moon's path. And so when the moon matches up, when it links with, or when it's in a certain orb degree of this south node, and you can see here this is really tight because we've got the moon at 23:56 minutes and the south node at 27:23 minutes. So if anyone's good at maths, they'll calculate it's about 4 degrees or so off. When the moon is so close with the south node, it means it's an eclipse. I believe every astrologer would say probably between 7 and 15 degrees away is a conjunction like this. I can't remember there isn't a precise um, number of like what denotes an eclipse. But sometimes you'll have the moon in a different sign and it will still be an eclipse because it's quite close by. So the south node could be in Virgo, the moon could be in Libra, and it would still be an eclipse. So that's our very obvious eclipse here. You can see it's super clear. Moon and south node together in our skies. And then conversely, on the other side of the chart, we've got the sun, north node, and Neptune and Saturn all together in Pisces. And that's quite a considerable stellium, I would say, that we've got there in Pisces. Let's go through one by one, highlighting them with this lovely little circle tool. I love that. So we've got Saturn. Sometimes it lights up, sometimes it doesn't. We've got Saturn there, brown Saturn, the Lord of time, karma, consequences, hard work, long-term views and long-term vision, and the word no, boundaries, skin, bones, structure. Okay, Saturn is all of those things. Saturn is all about constricting energy. Jupiter over there is all about growth energy, abundance, expansion. But Saturn is the opposite. Saturn's about limiting, refining, constricting, lessening, and setting up boundaries, borders, and so on. Then we've got the sun. The sun is the lovely golden circle in our sky, literally, and on the chart here. And so the sun and Saturn are conjunct as I'm filming this, and they've been conjunct. They've been together conjunct in our skies over the last, say, 48 hours if we give a nice little orb. So, what's been going on for you over the last 48 hours that could be Pisces coded? What's been going on for you that's been magical, mystical, serendipitous, and had this quality of the word no? I'm going to give you an anecdote. I was going to wait, but let me just leap in because it's quite sort of demonstrative of this energy. I feel like I'm knocking my light around. Okay. So during the Jupiter through Pisces transit of, I believe it was 2022, March, um, there was a conjunction between Jupiter and the Sun and Neptune, all in Pisces, and everyone was getting scammed. My Instagram accounts were getting duplicated, and people were pretending to be me and messaging people. It was a really big trend at that time, and it hasn't completely gone away, and it hasn't been, in my experience, as dramatic as it was then. Basically, I had this guy who was impersonating me. His name's Abib. Abib was impersonating me and completely had just ransacked my Instagram and was going for it. Lots of other astrologers and tarot readers and all sorts of people had the same experience. But because the sun was conjunct Jupiter, I said to myself, you know what? I think I got this guy. I know what's gonna like turn him on. Not in that way, guys. But basically, I used faith and the notion of God because Jupiter is all about the benevolent, expansive growth planet. And it also represents travel and experiences and, far-reaching wonder, far-reaching dreams. So when we go out and explore, we are also correspondingly seeking something. We're seeking the truth. We're seeking to experience something different. If you go on holiday somewhere new, you want a new experience. And oftentimes, when you're traveling, you might wander into a place of worship and be surrounded by different trappings that are religious. And basically, this is all to do with the ninth house of the horoscope, travel, um, exploring religion, faith, and Jupiter being this planet of faith and the sun lighting it up. So, anyway, I got talking to this guy who was plagiarizing me essentially and started talking to him about God. And turns out he was a Muslim, and I know the Muslim faith well. My dad lived in Saudi Arabia when I was growing up. And so I was very honest with him, and I just, basically charmed him into taking my account down, which looking back, it's not such a big deal, but at the time it was really frustrating. And so 2 days ago, I noticed that my dad had inboxed me on Facebook from a group. Turns out it wasn't really my dad. I went onto the profile, it was not linked to a Facebook account. And so I was like, this is fishy. And anyway, I got chatting to my dad. And of course, my dad is the sun because the sun is the father in astrology. And again started reeling this scammer in, and he was asking for $500 and so on and so forth. And then I just said to him, aware that it's Pisces season and Pisces, the archetype of Pisces being about religion. We're not in the age of Aquarius just yet, or maybe we are, we're on the cusp. But we've been in the 2000 years of the age of Pisces, the two fish, the two Christian fish, but all major religions have really had dominance over the last 2000 years. It's been a very religious 2000-year window, which we're coming out of. Anyway, Pisces season is always about that kind of theme for some of us, sometimes in some moments. And so I said, you're not feeling very good about this, are you? I said, this can't feel very good. And so we got talking, and he's from Nigeria. Just as the last one did, I did both of their horoscopes for them, both guys, both in Nigeria. And Abib ended up sending me pictures of his wedding day, and he never actually asked me for money after that. And this latest kid I don't know what his real name is, but I said, can you please take down that profile of my dad? Like he's already posted on Facebook. You're not getting anywhere. And so this is Saturn, the planet of no boundaries, no. And so I'm saying to this guy who's a foreigner and it's a Cancer rising, this is my house of foreigners. It's Pisces, it's slippery, it's a scammer. So I'm engaging, I'm talking. It's a kind of retrograde theme because it's happened before, it's familiar territory. So I just said to him, I said, this can't feel very good. He's already warned everyone, what's going on. And he was telling me all about his government issues. Anyway, that's the end of my story. That was my experience of Sun Saturn in my ninth house. And again, how I used spirituality to basically conquer. And hopefully, he will feel, encouraged to do something better with his time. Because I said, surely there's a better job that you can get instead of sitting there on Facebook scamming people, but who knows? He said he's training to do something with Forex, which I haven't Googled yet, but we'll see. Anyway, he wants an Apple voucher from me, and I don't think I'm going to give it him. But then I considered it charitable, Pisces season, for me as an Aries charity. So we've got the Sun and Saturn. And then the North Node, which I'll talk about in a minute. We'll talk about the South and the North Node. And then we've got Neptune at 29 degrees, 23 minutes of Pisces. So we're so, so close to the very final breath of Neptune in Pisces. So close. We'll move into Neptune in Aries, and then we will have a brief spell where Neptune retrogrades back into Pisces again. So it's not completely over, but it will be before the end of the year. Exciting, exciting times. Neptune permanently moving into Aries for a stint, I believe 11 years. So let's look again. Saturn, the planet of no boundaries, restriction. Sun lighting up this area of the skies. It's Pisces constellation. Neptune being the contemporary ruler of Pisces and the North Node. Let's talk about the North Node. You'll see it's a little glyph with a curl and two, very similar to the Leo glyph over here with the orange, but it's black and it's got two headphones. This is the head of the dragon, and the south node is the tail of the dragon. This is Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology, and it is the north node and south node in Western astrology. And these 2 points are present in everyone's birth chart. And if your sun or your moon is conjunct one of these points, you were born close to an eclipse. Sorry, if you were born when the sun was near one of these points, you were born near eclipse. If sun and moon are born, uh, if sun and moon are present by these points when you were born around a lunar eclipse. And if just the moon is there, then you'll be picking up the eclipse season, the eclipse cycle energy. So, for example, if your moon is conjunct, like mine is conjunct the south node in Sagittarius, it means that I pick up on that kind of resonance energy, and there may be an eclipse in your progressed chart. Message me if you want to know if there is an eclipse in your chart. Happy to oblige, particularly if I have your chart on file. And it coincidentally, my progress chart is coming up to a new moon in Gemini, so I shall be activating and using that with delight myself. Anyhow, that's the North Node and South Node. What does it mean? The North Node is all about bringing energy in, and the South Node is all about flushing energy out. So we've got this entrance and exit point, this push, this pull and release, pull and release. And in the birth chart, there's an incredible book by Jan Spiller called wait 1 second while I just get it. Astrology for the Soul. Astrology for the Soul. Are we going to be able to see that there? Astrology for the Soul. This is probably the best book on the nodes as far as I'm concerned and as far as I know. So that goes through all the different interpretations of sun, moon, etc. Sorry, it goes through all the different interpretations of what the nodes in your chart are interpreted as, how they might manifest in your chart. So yeah, basically the principle is that we may be in this lifetime leaning into our north node position and experienced in our south node. So we've come in through the south node and we're going out through the north node. So we've already collected a lot of karmic debris or baggage via the south node. And as we go through the north node, we are cultivating and craving and hungry for the pulling in experience of the north node. And so now with the North Node in Pisces, we can imagine that we are hungry for or ushering in or drawing forth themes of Pisces, particularly as we've had Neptune with the North Node, because the North Node goes clockwise while all the other planets go anti-clockwise. The North Node goes clockwise through the sign. So the North Node and Neptune have been conjunct again in the chart in our skies. And so I'm surprised that more exciting, prolific things haven't been happening. But I would say there's been a real emphasis on the star of Wicked. Her name is Cynthia. And she has her Mars at 29 degrees Pisces. So her voice just filling the auditorium of the Oscars, my local cinema, because I went to go and see Wicked on Friday almost a week ago. And that song is just beautiful and just so lovely, and it obviously has undertones and themes that we can explore by ourselves, because I'm not qualified to give a digest. I was actually speaking to a man last night about The Wizard of Oz and when it was written, which apparently when it was originally written, he was just about to start telling me all about it, what the yellow brick road represents and so on. And I think there was a political message way back when, and it's been drawn out, but the movie in the 40s didn't paint the wizard in such a kind of patriarchal, devilish way, whereas the new movie does. So go and watch it if you fancy. I actually didn't love the entire thing, but I just love that song at the end, which you can see on the Oscars. Anyway, she has her sun at 20, she has her Mars at 29 degrees of Pisces. Harvey Weinstein has his sun at 29 degrees Pisces, and he was also mentioned around the Oscars, given that his children are now being brought up by Adrian Brody or Adam Brody, Adrian Brody. Anyway, if you have planets at 29 degrees Pisces or any of the points, then you might be experiencing a really powerful transit from one of these planets. And if it's Neptune, that could be really exciting. And with the North Node there, we've got this pulling in energy of extra emphasis on that part of your chart. And Cynthia happens to be a Capricorn sun and I believe Capricorn rising, which is why she has the most incredible cheekbones ever. If you saw her cheekbones at the Oscars, they were just really incredible. So she's a Capricorn rising with this Mars in the third house of rapport, connection, speech, close connections, beautiful. And of course, Ariana Grande is also a Capricorn rising. Is Cynthia a Capricorn rising? I think we don't have a birth time for her actually, but Ariana Grande is a Capricorn rising. So it lights up that third house between the two of them, definitely because of Cynthia's Capricorn sun, Ariana's Capricorn rising. Anyway, hope you've got a cup of tea handy. I'm really waffling today, aren't I? Anyhow, so that's the North Node dragging in all those themes, lighting it up. And of course, we've got all sorts of Pisces people who have been in the spotlight, from Justin Bieber. We've also had Lily Collins. We've also had Rihanna. We've also had, all sorts of prolific Pisces people in the spotlight lately. So, but now it's Virgo's turn. But given that the Virgo moon is on the south node, to me, this represents a diminished quality of presence. Like, because the moon is on the south node, it's where have things been lacking? Where have I been lacking attention? And specifically, Virgo is things like health, wellness, regimes, diligence, precision. So, where have I been lacking all those things? Or where has collectively the onus been more on Pisces, on imagination, on the Oscars, on movies, on, twinkling lights and imagination and viral TV shows and, dreams and music and myth and astrology and getting lost in our imaginings and less about the nuts and bolts, what's pragmatic, what's practical, right? What else is going on in the chart? Mercury, you can't see it right here, but Mercury is about to station retrograde. Venus is already retrograde, but with these two planets retrograde, that's a pretty powerful pullback. And they're actually headed both for Pisces zodiac, the Pisces zodiac sign. So throughout April, Venus will be in Pisces. So we've got them in Aries right now. And so things are a little bit more spicy, dynamic, and punchy. We've also got Pluto over there at 3 degrees, and that resonates strongly with the Aries planets as well. I was speaking to somebody on the day that Mercury was sextile Pluto, and boy, oh boy, were the themes really coming out. I'm now writing a daily horoscope for LUK. Long may it continue, please. And you can read your horoscope every day on that website from me, written with love. So, probably the most important thing that we need to notice about this chart, can anyone spot it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Wow, it's Uranus down here and it's at 24 degrees. 24 degrees, 2 minutes. Can you see that the moon and the sun are at 23:56? I mean, golly gosh, by wow. That is a really tight trine from the moon and sextile from the sun. Let's now look at the new moon chart that corresponds with this full moon, and you'll see that again, during the new moon of September 2023, so it would have been 15th of September 2023 that the new moon was happening that corresponds with this full moon. You can see the sun and the moon were at 21 degrees 58 minutes over here in zodiac sign Virgo. So that was Virgo season. Mercury was retrograde. So in today's chart, Mercury's about to retrograde. In that chart, Mercury was about to station direct. So we've got a real mercurial theme to today's eclipse chart and to the birth chart of, seeding moment that this one's responding to. So that's exciting. But again, 21 degrees, it was trine Uranus. So, really good idea to think back, scroll back in your photo album, what was going on in September 2023? What was going on? I was actually with a friend. I wasn't on the exact new moon, but I had been with a friend who I literally just spoke to before I had this phone call. She's a Cancer rising Scorpio too, and I was with her on a holiday that year. So she's very much part of uh, my community, which is where Uranus is. And I've just been speaking to so many people over the last few days, so really plugging into, my network. So with that, let's go through sign by sign what this eclipse could be bringing up. I'll say a few tips about eclipses generally, but look at how the trine is occurring between the new moon to 22 degrees Uranus and the full moon to 24 degrees Uranus. I mean, God, guys, look at that. It's like bang on, really, really, really tight trine. If that's not magic working in the stars, I don't know what is, right? Like if that's not a sign of just divine timing, I mean, it is Virgo, so of course it would be neat and tidy. Okay, I'm going to go to whole signs so that you guys can enjoy the animation of this chart. Let's start with Virgo as well. But before I do, I just want to say a few things about eclipses and I want to say about Uranus. So, about the eclipses, eclipses are times of supersonic action, which is crazy because, quite frankly, nothing much has been happening out of the ordinary for me. And I've been looking at the newspaper and I didn't particularly see anything super out of the ordinary happening. No aliens landing, nothing too crazy or eclipsey happening. However, it's a South Node eclipse and it's Virgo. So maybe just the kind of mundane things in life, or maybe there's something going on with farming or agriculture that I'm not aware of. Have another look at the newspapers, but yeah, everything seems to be ticking over. For me, I feel like this is really highlighting what we have been missing, the missing puzzle piece. So even myself, I was just having a shower before I came on, did my makeup, and maybe the ritual of doing my makeup. I've kind of felt like, oh, Kimberly, you really don't do this very often. I never put makeup on. And so I was thinking to myself, maybe that ritual of, you know, being busy with my body. I had a shower. I was, hanging the towel up, and it's all very ritualistic. And I also went to the doctor a couple of days ago, yesterday, no, Wednesday it was. Anyway, um, so the nature of eclipses, they're meant to be heightened times of heightened emotional times. If you're a practitioner of magic, don't be going and doing your spells on an eclipse. This is a time to see things come to fruition, but this is really about letting that flower just gently open. No prizing, prodding, pushing, forcing. No self-will, please, guys. Just let things happen. Get an early night. I think I'm going to get an early night and go to bed and watch the iPad in bed and just relax, and maybe do a health ritual. And then tomorrow, take it easy, go to the gym, which is another Virgo style thing. I haven't had a gym membership in forever because it was so expensive in Hong Kong. Maybe some people would say it's not expensive. I personally found it really super expensive and I didn't want to spend money on the gym. But here I can actually afford the gym. So I was like, yes, I get a gym membership. So I've been missing the gym. Maybe that's one of the things I've been lacking, missing the gym. It can be very pedestrian, it can be very mundane, these astrological takes. Anyway, so eclipses are really powerful points. And then Uranus, you've probably heard me speak about it before, but Uranus is erratic, the change maker, this planet of cuts and cesareans, scissor, you know, the I can't remember what the word is that connects Uranus and Caesareans, but there's a that either Uranus is called something else. But anyway, it's very, very cutting energy. It's very switchy energy. It's like taking a lid off something, screwing and turning, erratic, surprising, shocking, innovative, forward thinking, progressive, inventive. We're taking leaps and bounds into the future when we involve Uranus and we're noticing what's had an upgrade or what's had a real major shakeup. So, for example, I was doing readings for people a long time ago on like a health and wellness day in on an island in Hong Kong, and this girl said that she had encountered somebody at school who was trans. And so she was a Scorpio rising and she was encountering someone outside the norm, someone shocking, different, against the grain for her. Like that was her experience. So Uranus can be unconventional, innovative, you know, doing things differently, or shocking, or just wow, lighting us up. And so for the Virgo and Virgo rising people, Uranus is in the house of wisdom, growth, publishing, and higher education, travel. So this is kind of going back to this idea of faith and morality as well, the ninth house. So the Virgo people have the moon coming to fruition in their sign, and the sun and Saturn and Neptune all in the house of relationships, one-to-one partners. So as a Virgo right now, you could be really aware of all the emphasis that has come around relationships. And with Venus and Mercury retrograde, literally Mercury stationing retrograde soon in your eighth house, this is all about taboo subjects, commitments, investments, contracts, reliability, looking to people to partner. What are you going to give? What are you going to get? How can you split the bills? Can you rely on this person? Are they trustworthy? Will they be there? Are they loyal? You know, all those questions are going on for the Virgos right now and Virgo risings. So, relationships, shared resources, and can we trust each other? And then this emphasis on the individual, this emphasis on the Virgo's body, identity, persona. So, if you're a Virgo, Virgo rising, tomorrow could be a really good day to post a selfie solo. Or perhaps you've already been doing some solo activities and you're just now really appreciating, what it's like to walk it alone and also be so enmeshed in togetherness because, Pisces is a very bound, boundaryless sign. Um, there's no ruler in water unless we put sticks in the sand. When the water is, rushing all around us on the beach, we can't really section it up, can we? We can't, unless we freeze water, it's really difficult to stop water flowing. So if you're that Virgo rising person, perhaps you've become lost in relationships. Perhaps you've been idealizing relationships. Perhaps you've been delusional about relationships, or perhaps you've been involved with a liar in relationships. Saturn's come along to help you straighten out your thinking and like, oh, okay, the reality of relationships is this. But major emphasis around relationships, major emphasis around relationships, and then major emphasis around what it's taught you, how it's opened your mind to other people's morality, your morality. What do I believe? What's the truth? How do other people operate? What perspective am I seeing things from? Can I have an adventure and speak to somebody completely different to me? Just like I was saying about the young man that I came across on Facebook Messenger imitating my dad, you might have a stranger, a person who's strange from further afield, a person who's innovative, who's awakening you to different ideas, concepts, stuff like that. So that's pretty bloody cool. And I love that for you, Virgo, Virgo rising, opening and awakening your faith in the universe and differentness. Okay, let's move on to the poor Libra, Libra risings. This one's tricky, Libra, because your full moon and your total lunar eclipse is right at the end of Virgo. So if you're a Libra rising, chances are you're probably really going to be feeling this one. Now, on the flip side, we've got the Sun, Saturn, North Node, and Neptune all in your house of routines, conscious activity, work, service, duties, employment, getting busy, getting in flow, major emphasis on the gym, major emphasis on yoga, swimming, a holistic practice, or on the duties that you perform domestically and keeping on top of a routine. So you've got this vacillation, conscious activities and unconscious activities, closure, surrender, acceptance, the dark night of the soul. And then Uranus in your eighth house of contractual obligations, trust, and reliances. And this erratic planet showing you that the people you thought you could depend on, maybe you can't. And then you've had some wonderful surprises because lo and behold, you can count on certain other people. So that's probably been a shake-up and a readjustment to who you come together with, invest with, share space with, and trust, right? It can also be around, I want to say family and property, but I would say more it's basically private agreements. My sister's a Libra rising, and she is having issues with a contract, which is to do with her property. For the Libra risings, Saturn is the planet of home and property, and Saturn's in this house of conscious activity, service, duties, service people, employees, employers. So basically, the Libra risings might be dealing a lot with service people, be it a dentist, be it a hairdresser, be it a barista, be it somebody who comes into the house and restructures things. So, and then the Libra rising's having to manage them or be managed. So, there's this real sync up or link up between the Uranus, the presence of Uranus. And don't forget over here, Mars as well is also going to come into a sextile too, only driving that home even more, amplifying it even more. But Libra, today it's the total lunar eclipse incoming, and you're gonna want to just take it easy, rest, recoup, escape, hide, work from home, or, do something different. Virgo is a kind of a controlling planet, and sorry, it's a sign of precision, critiques, and it can be kind of controlling and uptight. And there are people I know who are Libra rising who have planets in the 12th house. So they're unconscious, they're unaware of how uptight they can be because it's all in the hidden zone of closure. And so with the moon there, take it easy and just rearrange the back muscles, loosen up, and just say, I cannot control it because you can't. There's so little that we can control, right, guys? Then we've got Scorpio risings. And Scorpio risings are having the moon, which is their planet of wisdom, growth, experiences, knowledge, in their community zone. And of course, we're saying what's been lacking. So, have you got a friend that you would like to call Scorpio rising? Have you been missing out on community activities in a group, on a team, because you've been very preoccupied with a lover, a hobby, an artistic practice, your children, your fertility? This is a lot of activity here in the fifth house of play, creative inspiration, crafting, holidays, celebrations. So Scorpio rising could be so wrapped up in their sexuality, their love life, their children, what they've created, what they're making. And Uranus is in the planet of partnerships. So there's that unusual person or that unusual relationship dynamic. And here we are celebrating their sense of joy with a partner. It's really nice for the Scorpio risings. But with this eclipse, maybe it's about, maybe I ought to join the sewing club, the sewing circle, because Virgo is all about precision, design, really good designers, the Virgos of the zodiac. And so, you know, gravitating towards a group, do it, Scorpio. Get with your chums, get back in the circle with your pals, my dear Scorpio risings. It's always possible you just step into that circle. Not too difficult at all. Okay, Sag risings here on the 9 p.m. point. For the Sagittarius risings, the emphasis is primarily on home and responsibilities around home. All the planets are at the base of the chart. This is the roots, the base, the boards, the foundations of the chart. And in conversely, we've got the moon up there in the house of prominence and visibility and career aspirations. So maybe for Sagittarius, you could be thinking about what was my career again? What was my direction again? What was my public face looking like again? Because you've had so much emphasis on a property and on your role at home, your role in domestic circles. So remember who you are publicly and where you might sort of revisit those themes. And with Uranus in your sixth house of work, employment duties, managerial positions, domestic busyness, you've probably changed how you exercise, how you feed, how you not feed, because that's more fourth house as well, but how you live day to day, your managerial position, or how people manage you. And I know a couple of Sagittarius risings who have bucked the trend of employment and they just work for themselves now, or they've exited the workplace. And that's that very erratic energy of Uranus saying, no, I'm not going to be normal. I'm going to do something over here on a adjacent angle. I'm going to go over here and do things differently. So that's the Sagittarius rising. Or you could be really pushing the envelope, working with innovation in your job. So technology or concepts that are really progressive and ahead of their time. Well done, Sagittarius. Okay, Capricorn, Capricorn risings. Wonder where we started. Oh yeah, Virgo. Capricorn, Capricorn risings. We've got a chock full house of planets in your sector of speech, language, voice, mindset, intellect, teaching, learning, navigating, journeying around, neighborhoods, siblings, interpersonal rapport, communication skills. This is the busy bee third house of local connections. So you could be feeling very involved with your neighbors or with your close-knit ties. And again, we'll just point out the Venus and Mercury retrograde here. Also, your property could be playing into that. Your family, your home, your roots could be playing into that. It's really about how you navigate the local area and speak to people using language. And conversely, the Virgo lunar eclipse is occurring in your ninth house of wisdom, growth, other perspectives. So maybe you've been lacking perspective, awareness, a cultural injection. Maybe you've forgotten what it's like to travel long distance. Maybe you need to revisit a friend overseas or talk to somebody who knows something about spirituality, rituals, Catholicism. That's a very ritualistic religion. You know, maybe there is a revisitation that needs to happen around going the distance or publishing online. This is the house of broader horizons, broadcasting, putting yourself out there. And so, yeah, close-knit ties and that major emphasis on your local area. My mother is a Capricorn and she loves to go to the sea. So Pisces is all about water and she loves to be, amongst the babbling brook, amongst the seaweed, harnessing in that local area that is so steeped in water. And then conversely, on the other side, there was a full moon a few years ago and she had a car crash while the activation of this axis was lit up. And so it was awful because she drove into a wheat field. And so Virgo is the wheat field and Pisces is the sea. So it's really it was such a striking image. Actually, I think it was Mars through Virgo, because she had the red car, and I was like, that is so on point for, and it was the ninth house being other people's perspectives. So two people navigating, one close to home, one from somewhere further afield. So yeah, today is not necessarily a bad day for accidents for sure, but it's just interesting to see the wheat field and the water. And then Uranus plays into this picture through the fifth house of passions, excitement, children. So, for example, you might have grandchildren now, you might have a fertility journey, you might have a new love, you might have completely changed your sexual orientation to like a different sex because Uranus is so 180 energy, surprising energy. Oh, I've taken up a new hobby, I'm doing this now. Or I've decided I don't like that kind of music anymore, or I've just, completely reinvented myself with a new artistic outlet. So it's all about passions. So here you can have your local connections and passions and people further afield connecting to you with through your hobbies. And there we've also got the house of relationships lit up too. So it could be a really nice time for Capricorn. And like I say, that lady from Wicked, she's a Capricorn, Ariana's a Cancer, and so they're both very activated now with that kind of synergy. And her with her 29 degrees Pisces Mars as well, all very serendipitous for the Wicked movie. Okay, we're going to do Aquarius rising, and then I'm going to switch it all back. For the Aquarius risings, oh my goodness. So we've got the moon in your house of intimacy and contractual binding ties and vulnerabilities. So, have you been doing everything yourself, Aquarius? Saturn, the Sun, North Node, and Neptune are all in your house of building yourself up through your assets, your attributes. Pisces to you is all about, so you've got your first house is who I am, and then the second house, Pisces, is what I do. So you could be doing a lot, earning, working, taking the weight of the world on your shoulders, Saturn, you know, producing something, stock taking, buying, shopping, but it's all kind of on your terms. But with this, and you're the one that's kind of working, you could be the one in the spotlight. But on the other hand, you've got the moon lighting up your partner's job or the need to be vulnerable and let a partner step in. So let's, collaborate with this total lunar eclipse, Aquarius. Collaborate, lean in, see where a partner can do for you what you can't do for yourself, including sharing financial burdens. And there may be a gift coming to you from home because we've got this sync up with the Sun and Uranus, or you could be investing more in your property. Uranus is in your house of home life, family. So there may have been a change around parents. Perhaps you've lost a parent. There's been a great big cataclysmic ricochet through your family unit with Uranus doing a 180. You might have lost a parent, lost a home, moved home, become erratic, had instability, shock waves. And now this moon is lighting up vulnerabilities, reliances where we need another person. No man is an island, not even you, Aquarius. Even though I know you love being an island and quite independent. Okay, let's go back and do the other signs. We've got Pisces first, all the way back. Aquarius. So there's Pisces. Pisces, your lunar eclipse is lighting up relationships, one-to-one relationships. So you could be having an issue where you're thinking to yourself, that person just isn't present. Last month we had, or last year, we had the South Node going through Libra, and that was your house of shared resources. And so stepping away from a contract or, accepting that somebody else wasn't going to give as much as you need to give, major focus on your finances and on you as an individual, major responsibilities there because Saturn is in your sign. So Pisces rising, bear with because it could feel utterly, utterly challenging right now. For anyone, it could feel challenging with that Sun-Saturn combination. This, having to wait, having to tolerate patiently, Saturn being the planet of no, not yet, wait, let's do boundaries and all that kind of stuff. It's quite arduous. So the moon coming to fruition in your house of partners, acknowledging partnerships, acknowledging a lack of partnership, perhaps. Then Uranus in your house of close connections, speech, inner circle. This is the house where we come together with our siblings, we communicate, we find inventive ways to talk. We might be writing, doing a really important teaching project. I know Pisces rising that's doing a massive book slash method, like she's launching a book that is also a training manual for businesses, and it's a whole new, she's so excited. She's always telling me it's new and it's different and it's never been done before, and it's business, so it's Taurus. So very, very cool. And so I might check in with her and say, how's it all going? Pisces rising, or finding new languages as well, new ways to speak, maybe coding or new tools for communication, and also being brave enough to speak about the controversial things. So another cherished Pisces rising of mine, always talking about body positivity and women's sexuality as well, because Taurus, don't forget, is the sign of feminine love and affection, being Venus ruled. So money there, money being an uncomfortable, challenging issue, and also just that Saturn being on your back. I'm sorry, Pisces, I'm sorry about Saturn, but the gifts will come from Saturn because he is the karmic planet. So we do things by his rule of thumb and his ruler of snapping, harshness, and then there will be rewards eventually if we do things right. That's how I see it anyway. So acknowledge partnerships with this total lunar eclipse and what's going on there. And then Aries rising, health, wellness, well-being. And I've just given you those examples for myself. Like, I didn't have a gym, now I've got a gym. I hadn't been putting makeup on, now it's like acknowledgement of that ritual. So the sixth house here is all about daily maintenance, going to the doctor. I went to the doctor yesterday, had a skin checkup. Everything's fine. I don't have cancer. Something strange, a little something on my back. And I was like, what is that? Is it cancer? No. Go and get the checkup. Go and get maintenance done. Do your hair. The universe loves it when we take care of ourselves. Take care of your body. Do the grooming. We've been given one body. Let's take care of it in a ritualistic manner. But Aries, you may have been so focused on the wishy-washy stuff in life, me. You know, Aries might have been really soft and, going with the flow, although taking spirituality seriously because of Saturn there in the 12th house, doing the, daily inventories, daily prayers, etc. But also this massive emphasis. I've been so feeling it, just really leaning into my spiritual path, with this North Node in Pisces, really ushering in awareness of spiritual principles, tolerance, kindness, love, you know, prayer, prayer, prayer. So conscious and unconscious practices. So it's the opposite of Libra. Remember when I said about Libras doing conscious practices, managing the day-to-day, managing domestic life. For Aries, they're managing unconscious practices, subliminal, subconscious, unknowable things. And here's me working as an astrologer, doing daily horoscopes, tapping into the ether, working Saturn, but in the unknown realms. It could be also sickness and, that viral load that we get with Pisces, because Pisces is so phlegmatic. So it could be that ongoing sort of trudging. If you were walking for a swimming pool and you were trying to walk through those watery depths, and that's perhaps how the Aries can feel during Pisces season. I think that's how I feel too. The Taurus risings, your ruler is retrograde Taurus in Aries, your 12th house, so the unconscious area of your horoscope. So don't fret if you are in a healing passage, if you're undergoing a great big healing journey, that's normal. Mercury's about to retrograde there too. Take yourself offline, just accept the solitude and, surrender. You have got Mars and all these other planets in Pisces sparking up social activity. So the Saturn Sun North Node Neptune conjunction for you is all about community, all about networking, a collective cause, a movement that is greater than you, a community. So if you're a Taurus and you're looking out into the world, there may be a network of people that are in your world who are all interested in fashion, interested in wellness, interested in spirituality, existing in a pool of being down the pub. Pisces can be very slippery. They could all be into aromatherapy. They could all be um, swimmers. They could all be, music buffs. They could all be into a certain industry. So that's your Pisces 11th house getting lost in the crowd. And the Virgo full moon, Taurus, is lighting up your house of personal gratification, personal desires, what you want, what makes you happy. So you've got what makes the crowd happy, the crowd pleaser, and then you've got the people pleaser. No, then you've got the thing that you need to please yourself, right? With the fifth house moon. And then Taurus, you've got Uranus in your own sign. So where have you changed? How have you? Might not have changed your look or your identity, but something might have changed within you. Something has changed within me. I can't remember where that song's from. Maybe it's from Wicked. Um, yeah, it is. It's Defying Gravity. I'm not going to sing it. Something has changed within me. Something, I'm not the same. So that one. So that's the Taurus rising song. Maybe Cynthia is a Taurus rising. She could be. She changed her look a little bit. She shaved off her hair. So the Taurus people, you may have had a health or some kind of something different going on with Taurus. You might have gone from being single to married into motherhood, that kind of thing, a prolific change. And that can now bring you closer to your community, but also show you what you've been perhaps missing in terms of fulfilling your own needs and happiness. So do it, indulge today and tomorrow. For the Gemini risings, wow, this is exciting for Gemini risings. It's exciting for all of us given Uranus, but here for Gemini risings, you're really prolific now. Your career, your marriage vows, your life in the public eye, your uh, need to step up and be responsible, your need to highlight who you are as a person of prominence, as a mother, as a boss, as a figurehead. This is all this Pisces activity is lighting up that part of your horoscope, the 10th house. So that's, really being emphasized. But on the other hand, the total lunar eclipse in Virgo is highlighting the roots, the base, the bottom of your chart. And that is about home, family, and your foundations. Are you missing home? Are you missing your homeland? Are you missing your mother, your roots? Have you been missing out on some kind of mothering experience? Gemini risings. Worth thinking about. And we've got Uranus in that lovely sextile to the sun, or the sun in the lovely sextile to Uranus, and the moon in a lovely trine, approaching a trine to Uranus. And that's in your 12th house of healing, unconscious motivations, and everything that goes on behind the scenes in a really mysterious way. So, what practices have you awakened to that are bubbling beneath the surface? Gemini. So you could have had a change where you are now a parent and there is a selfless undertaking which is healing you. Or there may be a long-term sickness which warrants attention. I know people who are Gemini risings who have embarked upon flower remedy courses. So they are really utilizing the themes of Taurus, you know, people playing music or listening to headphones, really gaining some isolation, but with these healing tools that are so Taurus coded. So food, fashion, music, finances, working behind the scenes, spending money or indulging in private, but also being very visible, responsible, and successful too. Gemini rising. Finally, not finally, Cancer and Leo, two left. Cancers, Cancer risings. This is my sign. This is what I'm talking about, this communication axis. Speaking to people long distance. Of course, I'm now in Tokyo. This is now a whole new horizons that I'm, dealing with. Being abroad, ninth house, still engaging in a spiritual experience, talking to people about God and faith, and Neptune at that 29th degree, making it very prolific, ushering in experiences that test my faith or, making me look and reach beyond. But it's not just about me. I've got friends who are Cancer risings, another one who is also being tested in a foreign country, amongst her community as well. So Uranus in the 11th is all about the community circles. So the Sun, Uranus, we're talking about community circles. It's spot on for me. Like I am well involved with my community. And then, yesterday this wonderful woman came through Tokyo from Hong Kong. So getting to see kindred spirits further afield. We all went out for dinner together and, we're enjoying, community, but also sisterhood and, me talking on the phone constantly to people, sending voice notes. I also got interviewed by Tatler Hong Kong or Tatler Asia about travel for a travel article that'll come out next week. So that was kind of on point as well. And then I've also got a couple of Cancer people, one Cancer rising, one Cancer, both doing counseling jobs. So that's really ninth house because counseling is very much a path of personal development, growth, and spiritual expansion. So, yeah, the Cancers really doing some nice work there in their communities, right? So the 11th house Uranus, representing a new community or a new approach to community. And also like meeting alternative types in the circle. So yesterday I met someone with quite a look about them that was wild. And I was like, I've got to remember that there are all kinds of people in this world and to treat people accordingly because I was very cavalier in my Sagittarius moon way, quite cavalier with my tone. Somebody else said it didn't matter and he didn't take it anyway, and it was a good thing. But yeah, you just never know where someone's coming from and how they might react or respond to you. So that Uranus, very aware now of the way I'm communicating. So that's a tip for the Cancer risings. Just be aware of where the conversation's going, how you're connecting, how you're treating people, how you're engaging, and so on. And then finally, last but not least, we've got Leo risings. And here, the house of intimacy is lit up by your celestial guide, the sun. But the moon, the mysterious moon, is lighting up your resources and the way that you earn a living solo. Perhaps you haven't been doing much solo work because you've been so focused on relationships, Leo, really enmeshed and entangled with others, right? Really looking to a partner to, engage with. And now it might be down to you and your own resources just for this eclipse moment. Have you been lacking independence or an ability to shop for yourself or take care of money and so on? There might be something coming up around that. Coincidentally, my dad is a Leo rising and I was helping him with his scammer. So that's pretty on point too. And the foreign house as well, with Mercury about to retrograde and Venus already retrograde there, and that being the public image, the public profile of Leo rising. Another example is of a fantastic chef that I know who is getting award after award, and that is in the house of publicity. So Uranus changing, being so celebrated from not unknown, but from unknown to very known, putting one's face out there as a Leo rising and relying on other people, collaborating with other people to become prolific, you know, especially seeing as Saturn is the planet of your sixth house of work and wellness, Saturn being in this eighth house, who will you collaborate with, work with as a pair, you know, collaborating. So I know another Leo rising who is doing these series of interviews with people and improving their public profile that way. It's also a frustrating time for the Leo risings, given this 12th house Mars. So that could be grinding your gears and challenging you on an emotional level, Leo risings. So that's all 12 signs. Again, I wanted to say just general advice for lunar eclipses and for eclipses that are solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. No magic, no mischief, drink lots of water, keep headache tablets at the ready because it can be a real fizzy, fuzzy time that just heads get real cloudy and so on. So yeah, breathe through everything, especially with so much emphasis on the Pisces horoscope of the Pisces sector of the chart. This could be really about water therapy, a shower, a bath, running water, listening to rain, listening to a babbling brook on Spotify, maybe, engaging with the flow of life, the lymph the lymph of the body. I'm not a scientist, but Pisces is very phlegmy. When we had COVID, there were so many planets, Neptune was obviously in Pisces, but this chest area being very cloying and claggy with Neptunian throaty, lymphy stuff. So brushing the lymph, dry brushing, keeping everything flowing, go to the toilet, flush it away. And Virgo being health and healing. So we've got these two polarities. We've got the nurse with her little needle and her clipboard. And then we've got the healer and their castor oil pack. So, two sides of health and healing. Let it soothe you, let it heal you. And I'm always open for personal messages. Let me know if you have any questions about this or any other astrological stuff. I'm doing my book very soon. I've already printed out one copy of it. I just need to finish off some of the content and it's coming soon. It's going to be exciting. It's all about fashion and prolific moments in the history books, fashion related. So look out for that. All right, my dears, big hugs and see you very soon.